It's crazy how so many people love death row, but so few people know how it was founded or how it met its demise. Hey, what's up? First thing I like to say is thanks for hitting the link and watching this video. It took time and effort to make this. Really do appreciate that. Also, if you don't mind, can you hit that like and subscribe? Hitting the like don't hurt none. You can hit it right before you see the video. Don't worry, you will be satisfied. Also, we trying to get some new things going on in this channel, and to do that, I need new equipment. And to do that, it would really help if you could give some kind of donation. If you can't, it's cool. It is what it is. We still appreciate your presence here. If you can, that would be very nice, and link is in the description. Anyway, right now, let's get to our regularly scheduled program. Hey yo, I appreciate it if you could hit that like button right about now. Hey, what's up? This is the BBN, Jack Frost speaking, and today we covering a gangster. I ain't talking about real gangsters. We're not talking about these fake gangsters that be on social media telling everybody their business, getting locked up and not knowing why they're getting arrested. They talking about the ops is squilling on them. Nigga, you told everybody on social media. Alright, let's keep it a buck. You're an idiot. So right now we're talking about real gangsters that really was doing this thing out here. And I'm not trying to glorify gangsters at all, but sometimes sometimes these dudes get lost in the shuffle and we forget exactly where everything came from, because either they pass away or they get incarcerated and other people take credit for their hard work. So right now we're about to put an end to a little bit of the false narrative that's out there in the world. Michael Harris was a convicted drug kingpin who gave Denzel his first start on Broadway. This excerpt and this information right here actually comes from a book straight from the hood, written by Ron Chepusier. I don't know how to say that name, but it's right there. And Scott Wilson. Um, he right here, first paragraph. They explain that he was a street hustler who wanted to go legit. See, now this is one of the main things that kills me about a lot of these dudes that's out here forcing and flashing all of this money. Y'all supposed to be in the hood, y'all selling drugs, this and this and that, and you getting that bread, you getting that bread, you getting that bread. But it's not about getting that bread. It's about turning that dirty bread into clean bread and then using that clean money to do something with in order for you to be able to get on the other side. It's not about staying a criminal. It's about doing what you got to do in order to then make yourself to make your money legitimate. That's why I don't respect a lot of these guys out here when they be talking crazy, because you don't really understand what the game is. You think the game is about staying dirty. The game ain't about staying dirty. The game is about turning that dirty money into clean money. That's why you have a lot of gangsters that involve themselves in hip hop music, because that was a way to finance somebody else's talent in order to turn your money from dirty to clean money. Is basically washing your money through their company. That's why you have a lot of that in hip hop lore, and that's basically probably what the case was right here. So anyway, Michael Harris was born September 20th, 1960 on West 46th Street in South Central Los Angeles. He was raised a single-parent household by a hard-working mother. Now, right there, she had 2 jobs. So that just goes to show you. That just goes to show you that she was a hustler. You understand what I'm saying? Like anybody out there with 2 jobs, raising a kid or raising 1 kid, they a hustler. Even if they got no kids, they hustle. You out there, you got more than 1 job, you hustling. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta give her props for that. And a lot of single mothers is doing that. So, you know what I'm saying? Why don't we just give a shout out right now to all the single mothers out there? We're not talking bad about the fathers or the single parents in general. And we're not talking about the parent that ain't there. We're not trying to bash the parent that ain't there. We're trying to give praise to the parent that is there. There's a difference. You understand? All right. Anyway, so Michael's father, as you can see, was a they say he was a businessman, and he had 3 families. So he was a player himself. He was out there doing what he was doing. And the mother did whatever she can for Michael. Unfortunately, her vision was not to be. This was turbulent 1960s. Machinations were already underway that would affect Michael's young adulthood. Racial and economic tensions were reshaping the public consciousness. The civil rights movement was well underway, with the Black Power movement soon to follow. In the black working class city of Oakland, the Black Panther Party, the self-defense was born. That's another thing. A lot of people don't understand what the Black Panther Party actually was. The Black Panther Party wasn't for we're gonna go out there and we're gonna attack the white people, or we're gonna attack the the oppressors. It was about we're gonna prevent them from attacking us. We're gonna make it so that we insulate ourselves from the dangers outside. You know, that's what the Black Panther Party was about. Now, just a little bit more history. If anybody knows about Black Wall Street, you'll understand why there was a need for the Black Panther Party. Black Wall Street was basically it was a city that had a small town that turned it was a bigger city, and it was growing, and they basically insulated themselves from the outside, and they were able to take their money and cultivate it and grow it into something. And what basically had happened was the Ku Klux Klan, or the white people that be the FBI, CIA, whoever you want to say it was, came in and burned down all of the businesses and destroyed Black Wall Street. So in essence, if they had a Black Panther Party for self-defense movement going on at that time, it would have made it much more difficult for these people to destroy the commerce of this town. So you have to understand this, and this is one of the main things that I don't think that people get. They always talk about nonviolence this, nonviolence that, nonviolence this, nonviolence that. But if your enemy is violent, you can't do nonviolence. I know what it says in the Bible. They hit you on one cheek, turn the other. But that is not the same as not allowing somebody to destroy you. You're not supposed to allow the enemy to destroy us. That makes no sense. That whole proverb that comes from turning the other cheek is misinterpreted and it's mistaken and it's taken the wrong way. They're not talking about your enemy hitting you and you turning the other cheek. They're talking about your brother hitting you and you turning the other cheek. You understand? Somebody who isn't gonna cause for your death. Somebody that isn't trying to destroy you, but it's just how do you say, misled at the moment, or just wrong at the moment, or they, not somebody that wants your demise, not somebody that's trying to destroy your people. You're not supposed to turn the other cheek for them. That's just misinterpreted because they're teaching it wrong. Anyway, the Black Panther Party is definitely misconstrued, and what they actually were is turned into something in which they weren't. They're trying to say that these people were violent, and it's not that they were violence, but they would meet violence with violence. There's a big difference. Anyway, various street gangs in Los Angeles, once inspired by the Panthers, began to step into the void that was left. They became more militant and organized. Their feuds were more plentiful and bloody. Their feuds were plentiful and bloody. Soon, pretty much every black gang in LA claimed affiliation with either the Bloods or the Crips, while under the banner, they identified with their neighborhood of origin. Now, okay, basically, the Black Panther Party, after it was destroyed due to the influx of heroin going into the community, because that's what the CIA did. The CIA pushed heroin into the community and got people addicted, and that's what destroyed them, because people thought that heroin was the same as weed. Everybody smoked weed. So when heroin came and nobody knew what it was easy to trick people into getting addicted to it and to using it because they had not known what it was. So what happened was, after the heroin gripped into the Black Panther Party members and destroyed them. And you also had agents in the Black Panther Party also that helped bring them down. So after the Black Panther Party was brought down, then the Bloods and the Crips were born from their ashes. So with that being said, you also have to understand that lots of good can be done with the Bloods, and lots of good can be done with the Crips. And people just looking at them like they're savages. That's wrong, because they're just a fraternity like any other fraternity, just like these white fraternities out there that destroy our economic livelihoods. These people, the bankers, they all belong to some fraternity out here, and these politicians, they also belong to fraternities, and they're just destroying our economic livelihood and trying to make it seem like the Bloods and the Crips, a different type of fraternity, is the most dangerous thing in America, when they're not. They're just born by necessity due to the destruction of the Black Panther Party movement, which was a very important aspect of our culture that we need to not forget, and hopefully we can get back to at some time. So all right, let's go a little bit more further. And this is where you can see him right there with Denzel Washington. That's Michael Harris. He's right there with Denzel Washington. He allowed for the play he fronted a Broadway play. It says Checkmate was also a landmark in a very different sense. Michael Harris, gang member and cocaine kingpin, was the first African American to produce a Broadway play. See, that's another thing. Look what else he did. You understand what I'm saying? He was charged with narcotics distribution and a murder attempt. He was convicted on the murder attempt charge in 1987. And since he was serving 28 years in San Quentin, now I'm not saying he didn't do the murder, but you also have to understand exactly how things go on in America when you're a colored man and you start gaining or you start aspiring to any kind of power, and you're not gonna allow for yourself to be oppressed, or you're not gonna allow for yourself to be indoctrinated into any specific groups. What happened is they come for you. And I'm not saying that that's what happened in this particular case, but I wouldn't be surprised if the attempted murder charge is due to a self-defense. So we'll be right back after this scheduled break. Hey yo, I appreciate it if you could hit that like button right about now. All right, so we back from our break. So basically, just a recap on what we were just speaking about. Mr. Harris, uh, he was also part of a group, because I doubt that he financed the whole entire Broadway play himself. Usually, you become part of a group. You know what I'm saying? That helps you to not have to absorb all of if you know, if it doesn't make money, if you lose money, if the play loses money, you don't have to absorb all of the cost yourself. So you usually become part of a group. It doesn't say he has here, but I wouldn't doubt if that was the case. So it says Harris was charged with narcotics distribution and attempted murder. He was convicted of attempted murder, which has been since been recanted. I don't understand that. Did he say he was guilty and then now he say he's not guilty? I'm not sure. It doesn't say. And has since been serving 28-year sentence in San Quentin maximum security prison. His entrepreneurship did not die in prison. In fact, he is probably better known to be the public as the man who put $1.5 million in seed money for the fledgling gangster rap label called Death Row Records. Death Row went on to become one of the most storied and infamous labels in his music history. Though Harris was not able to partake in any of the spoils, his wife won a $106 million lawsuit against the label in 2005, sending it into bankruptcy. So that basically says a lot right there. Before we get to the next paragraph, that's about Denzel Washington. That says a lot right there, because you have to understand that how they remove us, either they try to kill us or they try to imprison us. I'm not saying that this is the case with this particular individual, but you can see he had a lot of power, and he was not using his money on shenanigans. He was spending his money in order to grow his brand and in order to make an empire. One of the first things that he did that they talk about is that he put a play on Broadway. Obviously, I don't have to explain not just the difficulty in doing that, but the monies that you would have behind you in order to do that, because you know how many people that you have to pay off. And like, this is not a simple thing. It's not simple. It's not easy. Um, then you have to understand that it says Harris was charged with narcotics distribution and attempted murder. Who attempted murder of who? You have to assume that there was a shootout or something, or maybe he killed somebody, or something. You know, something had to have happened. You know, something had to have happened. You know, and narcotics distribution also. So they most likely have been watching him. You know, because they have to also most likely have been watching him, because he's so far up the chain. He's not standing on the corner handing out nickel and dime bags. He's all the way at the top of the chain. So obviously they had somebody ratting, you know, and they've been watching him for quite some time now. And that was in 1987, and it was a 28 year sentence, and I haven't heard about him being free. So you know, there that go. And since serving a 28-year sentence in San Quentin, and since has been serving a 28-year sentence in San Quentin maximum security prison, his entrepreneurial spirit did not die in prison. In fact, he's probably best known in the public as the man who put a $1.5 million seed money. Now, first of all, he put that money up when he was in prison. So that means that there's no telling how much money he actually had, period. You understand what I'm saying? Then I'm assuming that since his wife had to sue to get the $106 million in a lawsuit in 2005, that one, I need to check and see if he's still alive. I'm not sure if he's still alive at this point. But if he had to sue to get the 106 million in 2005, then obviously they had not been paying any of the monies to him his since you know they were created and came about. So you know, that's a whole nother situation. But you got to take into consideration, you can't never discount the fact that these guys, whether you are, they're just gangsters nowadays, and these supposed you know guys is out here searching for this clout nowadays, all over social media talking about their business. They just doing it wrong. It sounds to me like this man just went about his business. I mean, they didn't have social media back then, so there's not to the degree that we have it now. So there's no public social media, so there's no telling what he would have actually have done. But being as it seems like he obviously lived by a certain code, I'm pretty sure that he wouldn't be on Snapchat showing everybody, throwing thousands or millions on the bed, or sleeping with money, or doing what that other dude did, trying to feed money to his dog, or whatever foolishness, these coonery that these dudes is doing nowadays. Anyway, Denzel Washington, of course, is now one of the most popular and respected actors in cinema history. He has made a career of roles that present positive and powerful images of black manhood, and his Oscar-winning turn in Training Day being a rare exception to that rule. Notice how they put that. It was a rare exception to the rule. The one time that he wasn't a powerful black man, the one time that he wasn't a respectful black man, and not for nothing, the Training Day is actually based on a true story, and that guy was Puerto Rican or Mexican or something like that. He was of Spanish speaking heritage. So the one time, that's why in the movie his girlfriend, his side piece, or whoever that homegirl was supposed to be, was she was of Spanish speaking origin also, ethnicity, pardon me. So Denzel Washington, of course, is now one of the most powerful and respected actors in cinema history. He has made a career of roles that present positive and powerful images of black men, his Oscar winning turn in Training Day being a rare exception to that rule. He met Michael Harris through the limousine company that he owned. I kind of glossed over that, but Michael Harris also owned a couple of limousine companies, and that's how you do. Like, limousine companies are like if you're gonna own a laundromat. That's another way that you wash your money, because the turnover is great. You understand what I'm saying? Is like a limousine company is probably easier to track the money, but like with a laundromat, you really can't track the money. Somebody owns a laundromat, you could say you made whatever amount of money. You could say, we made this amount of money this year, that amount of money that year. You could say you made whatever kind of money. It's hard to track the money. It would not be unreasonable to conclude that Denzel had no idea that Michael's real occupation at the time, since it surely would not have been in the best interest to advertise his stature as a mega cocaine dealer. Now, 9 times out of 10, this is Hollywood. Everybody knew who dude was. Okay, let's keep it above. I'm not trying to talk bad about Denzel, but come on, you know, okay? Everybody knows who everybody is. It's Hollywood. Half of them dudes is getting high, or their friends is getting high. So even if Denzel wasn't getting high, some of his peoples was getting high, and this guy was a major cocaine dealer. You know who he is. That's just foolish to believe that he wouldn't. Had Michael Harris been allowed to complete his transition into the entertainment business, there's no telling what he could have accomplished. Perhaps there would be more production starring Mr. Washington, where, I mean, come on, Denzel works. We wouldn't necessarily need that, but okay, I get your point. And last, the drug game is not known for allowing an easy exodus. Harris likely knew that going in. He has received parole and is currently awaiting release. Okay, so that's what's going on with him. Meanwhile, Denzel Washington is likely signing on for another role in another blockbuster and space on the shelf for another award. Well, I doubt they're gonna give him another Oscar, no matter how well he acts. So there that go. Anyway, these are the right here. This is all the information about these two individuals, about the authors. He's an award-winning freelance investigative journalist, documentary producer, and executive producer, and co-host of the Crime Beat Show radio show. So you got that one individual, and the other one is actually a native of the Bronx. That's what I'm talking about. And former New York State and Westchester County correction officer. He's a freelance journalist who had done work in publications such as the Don Diva magazine and Hip Hop Weekly. Okay, I'm gonna leave all of that alone, because a lot of these guys that do Don Diva magazine and Hip Hop Weekly are agents. But I'm gonna leave all that alone. I'm not assuming that that's what this guy is, especially with the information that they just disseminated right here and was most likely in the book. So I doubt that they will be speaking about any of these gentlemen in a positive light if they were agents of any kind. So anyway, the name of the book is Straight from the Hood. If nobody's copped it yet, you should probably want to cop it. It sounds like it can be interesting, and it might have a lot of lessons in it, and it also might have a lot of tips and a lot of hints in order to how you could possibly get your own entrepreneurship going on. Anyway, if you have any comments, leave down below. As always, like, comment, and subscribe if you are not currently subscribed. Also, share, share, share. That's all I got for you. I'm out. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you would like to help dictate the direction that this channel takes, please leave a comment. All comments are appreciated, whether positive or negative. Thank you very much and enjoy your day. And remember, positive thoughts cause for positive things to happen. Let's get it.